Welcome back, my loyal citizens of Ottawa. GM Yeesh here, and we are up at the Year 2 NHL draft with your Ottawa Senators. And despite being a bottom 2 team for the third year in a row, including 2 last place finishes, we still failed to get the first overall pick, falling to 3rd overall and missing out on the highly coveted Alexis Lafreniere, as well as the super sweet Torsten Kruger, leaving us with a huge decision on who to select at number 3. And I'm not going to lie, boys, I haven't been this uncertain since the first day in office. So I decided to turn to you guys, the analysts, for help. And even you guys are split down the middle, basically. Take a look, boys. The first comment is from Valley Goat saying, go for the best player available every time, which would be the left winger from the Liga. But he seems like a pure playmaker. And the only way we could maximize his potential would be to play him on the first line. But we already spent an entire year developing chemistry between Tkachuk and Sanford, so I don't think that makes much sense there. The next comment is from DSimize, reading, I don't think Batherson is going to be that second line right wing you need for the cup push, so try to get that right wing power forward if you think he will fit in on the future second line. Try to trade up with one of those other picks if you don't have to give up anything unreasonable. So he wants me to go after this right winger, Mason Forbes. So I was honestly thinking about it, boys. He does seem like the best player, right? A+ shooting, A+ puck skills. Owen Nolan's in his NHL comparison. He had 59 goals in 68 games. My biggest problem with him lies in his character, boys. I don't think we need someone like that after the rough year we had, right? Everyone's already on edge. We don't need a young, cocky kid, 18 years old, with attitude problems. Plus, we already have Sanford, and they're basically the exact same player, so we wouldn't be able to utilize them fully on the power play, offensive zone. It just doesn't make much sense chemistry-wise. So I probably won't go for that. But the idea of trading up in the draft seems interesting, and the next comment from Mr. Questions 11 seems to agree with the idea of trading up, reading, trade Pittsburgh's pick plus Kaliev or Balsers plus other prospects to draft Perfetti or Byfield. With Sanford unhappy and Trouba coming in, we need to get the top 6 filled to start playing playoff hockey. Brown and Perfetti or Byfield can play first and second line center. Sanford and Batherson as right wings. Tkachuk and the left wing at 3rd overall rounds up the top 6. You got depth last draft, but we should go for the top picks in this loaded draft. So I thought the idea of trading up in the draft was pretty interesting. I went ahead and did my due diligence, scouted out all the bottom teams, right, to try and figure out if we could trade up. But there are 2 big problems, the first of which was none of the top teams in the 9 to 5 range wanted to give up their picks. So that was a huge issue, as well as if we draft all these young studs, eventually they're all going to want these big contracts, and hate to break it to you, boys, but there's a certain man up top not too fond of giving out those big deals to young players, or any players for that matter. So I don't think we'll be trading up in the top 10 of the draft this year unless something perfect lines up. The next analyst, 6th or 7th, says, I'll start with the caveat that asking me for hockey advice is like asking Eugene for advice on making friends and not looking evil. So in my worthless opinion, head says best player available, but heart wouldn't mind getting a number 1 center. Hey man, the heart knows better than the brain. At the very least, I prefer your heart over Peter Chiarelli, and that's not even a joke. It's statistically proven that a potato would have been a better GM than Peter Chiarelli for the Edmonton Oilers. And the last comment is from Greeny, who was in the last video, and he states that other left wing, if he falls to 3rd, would be a stud. Even at that, Byfield or Perfetti are never bad choices. 18.5% chance at number 1. I know, man, it's rigged. Gary Fatman doesn't want another Canadian team in the playoffs. Too busy focused on growing hockey in the States. Ridiculous. All right, boys. So it seems that even you guys, the analysts, are split on what to do, and I can't blame anyone. This is a super tough decision, right? But that's why we need second opinions for different perspectives on the situation. And thanks to all these different perspectives, I've had a new outlook on the situation, and I think I've come to a decision on who we should draft. But before that, I'll go ahead and go through the awards real quick, and then we'll jump into the Year 2 NHL draft. So the Chicago Blackhawks are your Year 2 Stanley Cup champions. Very nice. President's Trophy goes to the San Jose Sharks. So what I say, boys, they overperformed the regular season, couldn't get it done in the playoffs, even with the super sweet Erik Karlsson. Ridiculous, man. San Jose, king of the choke. Chicago Blackhawks, yeah, Clarence S. Campbell, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So Crosby tried to go for his third cup in, 5 years? Hawks said no. Art Ross Trophy goes to Brock Besser. Hart Memorial Trophy also goes to Brock Besser. James Norris goes to Shane Gostisbehere. Lady Byng goes to Claude Giroux. So it looks like the Flyers have a nice little run in the awards show this year. Calder Memorial, baby. DeAndre Sanford. Look at the comparisons. Pedersen, Barzal, Matthews, Panarin, and now Sanford. Crop of rookies in the NHL just continues to get better and better every year. It's ridiculous. Conn Smythe Trophy goes to Patty Kane. So now he has 4 Stanley Cups and 2 Conn Smythes to add to his case for being the greatest American-born player of all time. Vezina Trophy goes to Henrik Lundqvist. That makes sense. So does Williams and Jennings. Very nice. Bill Masterton, Eric Goodbranson. So it looks like your Ottawa Senators went back-to-back on the Bill Masterton. I wonder if it just gives it to a defenseman on the last place team in the NHL. I'll look at that next year. Barkov won the Selke. Wow. That's more realistic than I thought EA would do. I didn't know Barkov was that good defensively in this game. Interesting. I might have to take a look at his stats sometime just to see what it's like. Besser wins the Ted Lindsay, voted as the most outstanding player by the rest of the NHL. And Maurice Richard goes to Alexander Ovechkin because, of course, he might be on pace to break Gretzky's goal-scoring record. We'll have to keep an eye out for that this season, boys. All right, now that we got the awards out, or not this season, but over the course of his career, right? So now we got the awards out of the way. Let's go ahead and jump into the Year 2 NHL draft here. I got a couple trades lined up, regardless of who we end up drafting. See guys like Marner and Point on the block, Barry even, but I don't think those big studs, we don't have the assets necessary to acquire them that the other teams are looking for, or at the very least that I'm willing to give up. So go ahead and simulate the first 2 picks here. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a lot of surprises. I would have liked to draft that left winger if he fell, but didn't look like he was going to. That's perfectly all right. So let me just see. Now, generally, you take the best player available if you're not sure what to do, right, boys? That would be either Mason Forbes or the left winger from Finland. But I feel like you only take the best player available when they are the clear consensus best player available, right? Where it's bar none, they are the best player available. And while both players are good, I don't think either are DeAndre Sanford levels of you have to draft me, right? So looking at our forward core going into year 2 or year 3, I want to be competitive. I want an ice and competitive roster. First line is going to be Sanford, Tkachuk, and Brown most likely. Second line is probably going to be Batherson and Duclair on the wings. So that means we need another center, right? We need a center for the future. Josh Norris, we will give him a shot in the NHL, but I can't trust him with top 6 minutes, right? Chaplick, he had a decent year, but he's clearly not going to be a number 2 center, right? And I don't think we need a offensive-based third-line center. He's also very bad at face-off, so I don't think that works. So with the positional need in mind, I decided to go ahead and draft a center, which gives us 3 options. Josh Lawrence from the Q, Cole Perfetti from the Saginaw Spirit of the Ontario Hockey League, or Quinton Byfield from the Sudbury Wolves of the Ontario Hockey League. Now we can go ahead and rule Norris out just because he's high top 6 potential, and he has balance issues and character issues. 5'9", no thank you. So that leaves just Perfetti and Byfield. Perfetti seems to be the more skilled player. A+ puck skills, A-level senses, a very good shot, 200-foot game, magic hands, and one-on-one skill. His NHL comparison is Mikko Koivu, while Quinton Byfield, 110 points, very nice, 200-foot game, size and strength, leadership ability. He seems to be more of a two-way player, right? He has better defensive categories, but his hands are clearly way worse. And his NHL comparison is Jonathan Toews. So I wasn't sure which one of these guys to draft. It was very close. Honestly, even now I'm still torn, boys. But I feel like one of these guys just fits the team so much better than the other in my mind. I have 30 seconds left to make the pick. I believe around now is when they'd say the pick is quote unquote in. Gosh, the draft is stressful. You have to go up there and you're relying on some 17-year-old kid you've met maybe 3 times before to carry your franchise to glory. All right. The pick is in, boys. With the 3rd overall selection in the 2020 NHL entry draft, the Ottawa Senators are proud to select from the Ontario Hockey League, Quinton Byfield. To me, boys, it just made more sense. We need that defensive center. We have the offense, right? And I don't think we're ever going to be, as long as we're not a cap team, I don't think we'll ever have the cap space and firepower necessary to outscore other teams. So we need to be a stingy, shutdown team who has a couple guys who we can rely on for a goal or 2 a game, right? So that was my decision in drafting Byfield. Also, we just had a really rough year, right? He brings leadership, a good locker room presence, Jonathan Toews style. We need a leader, and I feel like this kid could be exactly what we're looking for. So we will give him every chance to make the NHL roster this season. I won't guarantee that he starts on it, but I would say it's very, very likely at this point. Let me know what you thought about that pick, boys. I know a lot of people wanted me to go after that right winger. A lot of people wanted me to draft that left wing Finn as well. I feel like this is the best pick for our franchise. If we want to win a cup, right, we're going to need a number 1 high-end center. If you look at all the other teams in the cup, they all have that number 1 high-end center. Ryan O'Reilly, Crosby, Backstrom, Kuznetsov, right, Toews. It just goes on and on. So we needed him. I would have liked to trade up for the 10th overall pick, but I just don't see it happening. We can't get any other elite players. So I'm going to do some para video editing, boys, draw up a trade here, and I think I have maybe 2 more to go after that. So we'll try and get those done, get the draft over with, and we'll see what the video time is at there. So let me go ahead and draw the trade up, boys, and I will be right back. All right, boys. So this trade is going to be with the Nashville Predators. We're going to give up our 3rd round pick from this year and the 49th overall selection in the 2nd round, as well as prospect Philip Chaplik and Vitaly Abramov, that's his first name, in exchange for Juuse Saros and Wayne Simmonds. Wayne Simmonds is listed as a bad contract, so I think he's worse in this game than normal. He's usually like an 86. I believe he's like an 80, 81. He's listed as a bad contract, but I believe he was being misused in Nashville. If you look at his stats, he still puts up 20, 30 points. He hits like a tank, and he's a positive possession player, veteran presence in the locker room. It just makes perfect sense. Saros, he's a young goalie who can challenge Gustafsson for the starting position. He'll probably be the 1A and Gustafsson be the 1B to start the season. I don't think it makes much sense to have Gustafsson be our starter before he's played a game of NHL hockey, right? And I know a couple of you guys might be thinking, well, why are we giving up young players that are almost NHL ready? The simple answer is because I don't want these guys playing 3rd or 4th line minutes. If we're going to be a competitive team this season, our 3rd and 4th lines need to be defensively sound, right? And Chaplik, he's clearly a pure offensive player. His faceoffs are way too low to be any use. He can't kill penalties. And Abramov, a sniper, low top 6. We have plenty of snipers in the system now. In a perfect world, I'd like to hold on to him a little bit longer, see if he can't develop, but I don't have a place for him in the lineup, so I wouldn't be able to give him the opportunity anyway, and it would be at least 2 or 3 more years before he saw NHL action. So I feel like this trade makes perfect sense on both sides. It'll help improve our roster next season without mortgaging any important assets of our future, right? So hopefully the Nashville Predators accept this deal. On behalf of the Nashville Predators organization, I accept your trade offer, and we will see you out on the ice. Very nice, boys. So the Wayne train is coming to Ottawa, baby. Canada's capital. Love to see it. The next trade is going to be with the Montreal Canadiens, and it's going to be way more minor. I don't even really have to draw it up. It is just going to be a 1-for-1 swap. Jimmy Hayes, we are going to swap with, where is he? Here he is. We're going to swap him with Jace Howryluk. We tried him out in the NHL this season. Minus 20. He didn't seem that ready. 25 penalty minutes. Jimmy Hayes, veteran guy. He only has 1 year left on his contract. He put up 28 points on a 4th line the season prior. He can hit, he can kill penalties, and even if we end up not being able to use him, he only has 1 year left and won't charge us against the cap or anything. So there we go. And for the next trade, boys, there's a prospect I want to grab. Let's see, where is he? He is at, here we are. He's projected to go 17th overall in the draft, A+ shooting, A- puck skills, pro release, hard wrist shot, and offensive instincts. Takes winning seriously, has an incredible drive to win, but loyalty is a concern. Even though he's medium top 6 potential, this kid could be an absolute stud. And I believe the only team, yeah, Colorado doesn't want to give up their first round pick. Buffalo doesn't want to give up theirs. So we'll have to wait until the 17th and Tampa. So I will go ahead, do some power video editing, simulate up to the 17th, and draw a trade up. If he gets taken before that, I'll just go ahead and cut to the next trade I have in mind, right? Maybe just do the picks, but hopefully he falls. I'll go ahead and do the power video editing. Let's get that out of the way. Alright, boys, so he fell to the 17th overall. I drew up a trade here with Tampa. We're going to be sending the 27th overall, our 3rd round pick next year, the rights to 2 unsigned prospects, and this right wing sniper in the AHL. The reason I'm moving him is because he's a RFA, and there's a lot of prospects like Guerin that I want to give ice time to in the minors, right? We have a lot of guys coming up on the right wing, including one kid who we can hopefully draft. So I want to give them the ice time. I wouldn't be able to re-sign him anyway because of that. So I'm going to go ahead, throw him in the deal, and hopefully they take this, because if not, I'm not sure what else to offer them, and I am on the clock. So hopefully it goes through. Oh, thank gosh. We believe this transaction will contribute to our success here in Tampa Bay, so we are accepting your trade offer. Very nice, boys. So this draft is going very well. Go ahead and select, here he is, Yanni Ruutu. Love to see it. Left wing sniper. Now down the line we might need a center. I was considering trading up for this kid. Leadership ability, hard wrist shot, offensive instincts, but he's injury prone. He's 5'9". I don't think he's the center that we necessarily are looking for down the line. He's injury prone, and his NHL comparison is Marian Gaborik. That's a cute little touch. There's also this kid, B shooting, B puck skills, A- senses, but balance, face-offs, so he's basically a winger. He looks like he's played center his entire career, but if he wants to make the jump to pro hockey North America, he's probably going to have to play the wing. So for me, it's got to be Yanni Ruutu. Very nice. Go ahead and select him. And I'm hoping there's a right winger that's falling. Hopefully he doesn't get taken. I don't see him with a 30th. I could have traded up a couple spots, but I've already spent more than enough assets. Here we are. Evan Timmins. He's a right wing sniper. Pro release, offensive instincts, and foot speed are his strengths. And his NHL comparison is Joe Sakic. So, of course, I'm going to be pumped about landing this guy. So, with our first 3 picks, we drafted a center, a left wing, and a right wing, all in the first round. Stacking the prospect cupboard up even further. So now, if we need to, come free agency, we can make some trades, trading away a couple of the prospects we don't think we might need down the line, right? Now that we have so many. I'm not sure we will do that. I do want to see who's available in free agency right now. I do think we need another center and a couple depth players. I think we need a left winger and, yeah, another center. Yeah, a left wing and a center and maybe one more right wing. I'm not entirely 100% sold on Jimmy Hayes. And we need a defenseman, maybe 2. So there's still some moves to be made in free agency, boys, but I like the way the team is headed, right? We've been the joke of the NHL for the past 3 years. I'm sick and tired of it. I want to ice a competitive team. This tank has been insanely painful. I don't like losing. I'm ready to go out there and contend for a playoff spot. Let's see. These guys are unhappy, Ehlers and Connor. I'm going to keep an eye out for them. If either of them request a trade, they might be something we can pounce on. But until then, just wait and react, right? So go ahead and simulate up to our next picks. I basically got rid of all of our 2nd to 4th round picks, unfortunately. There's a medium elite goalie projected to go, and I think a couple gyms, but none of them were positions we needed, right? We already have the medium elite goalie. And I don't believe there's anyone else scouted out with any potential, so I'm just flying blind here. Yeah, scouts kind of biffed it for the later rounds of the draft, but that's fine. It's going to happen when you have limited scouting, right? Only so much you can do with the limited staff. Thank you very much, Melnick. So, Scott Saunders, we need a center. Boom, there you go. Probably just draft centers or people with funny names. I think that's got to be the combination right here. Well, okay, I got to draft this guy, boys. His name's Pavel freaking Bure. I mean, what do you want from me? Like, this kid's clearly going to be a stud, guaranteed. I mean, left-wing sniper Pavel Bure. Come on, come on, come on. There's no way he's not a stud. Pavel Bure. Man, I love watching him growing up. Dude was a beast. Jeez, I have no idea who to draft now. Go with another Russian, Sergei Karpov. He's 19 years old, though. Can I get a younger kid? Caden Spooner. Yeah, let's get we go with the Russian or the American. We've had some success with the Americans, so let's go Russian. Spread the love, baby. There we go. That should be the last pick of the draft. Maybe we have one more. A 7th? Yeah. Okay, we have a 7th. Just go ahead and make this selection. Again, I'm flying blind, boys. I'm flying blind. Wait, can we still get that other American center? Yeah, we can. I knew that. 100%. There we go. Center grinder. Very nice. Hopefully at least one of them turn out to be a little something. I have high hopes for Bure. But the first 3 picks, I'm ecstatic about, boys. Very successful year. So we got the re-sign phase in the next video. Oh, player meetings. Who wants to talk to me? Saros and Simmons. All right. Look at that. Simmons is a presence. Huge asset to the team. I'm glad to join the team via trade. It's a privilege to be here. I'll just go demanding. Don't want to make him mad. Glad to join the team. I'll make sure this trade looks good for you. I'll give him motivating. Yeah. I've got the... Whoa. Peter Holland has low locker room chemistry with 3 of our prospects. Might not be able to bring him back next season, boys. Can't be having him messing with the youngin's growth. So we'll go ahead and probably end the video here. I think we've been going for a while. I want to make shorter episodes for you guys to make the series easier to follow. In the next episode, we'll tackle free agency. We got to give out contracts to Wolanin, Shabbat, and Trouba. I want to get all of them locked up long term, if possible. Might make a couple more trades, and I'm probably going to buy out Bobby Ryan, boys. Again, we don't need... He proved last year he wasn't a top 6 forward. He only had 11 goals playing on the first line. 20 points, I think it was brutal. 19 points, minus 27. He can't play top 6 minutes. I can't use him on the 3rd or 4th line. I think I'm going to have to buy him out, unfortunately. But let me know what you think about that, boys. Any other moves I should make? Let me know how I did on the draft, if I could have improved anywhere, or if Byfield was the right or wrong pick. Let me know, boys, and I will see you all in the next episode.